Hello, everyone. This is Chad Owen, the Annuity Sales Coach, and right next to me is my Wonder Boy retirement.
Don't say my Wonder Boy.
My Wonder Boy. My boy.
Not your Wonder Boy.
That is true. That did sound a little weird.
Man.
This is my son in love first, and then he's my retirement second, and then he's Boy Wonder third. So whatever order that needs to be in. We do have fun, though. I mean, think about how many fathers and son-in-laws actually get to have fun together.
Well, that's true.
That's not common.
Yeah.
Of course,
most of it's picking on each other back and forth.
It's true.
Yeah.
But you're good to my daughter, so you can stay alive. Okay. Of course, we better be careful how we say that, too. Strike the X-nay on Caleb A.
Yeah.
Is that how you do that?
The X-nay?
I don't exit. No.
X-nay is like neck.
Oh.
Necks, I think.
See, I don't get it. My family speaks Pig Latin in front of me, and I just don't get it. And they've tried to explain it to me, and this dad brain just cannot grasp it.
Listen, so if you take the first
no,
letter
I've
of
already
any
heard
word,
this a million times. What are we talking
put
about
it at
today,
the end
Caleb?
And add a.
Okay, then say it right now. Say it. What are we talking about, Caleb, in Pig Latin?
Okay, eeping K up. I don't know how to do a two-letter word.
Okay.
Keeping up with the times and not getting left in the dust.
Okay, let's just do it.
Man. Keeping up with the times and not getting left in the dust.
We've spent a minute and a half talking about Pig Latin Boy Wonder, so let's get serious here.
But really, it's important to keep up with the times. You know,
absolutely.
There's a lot of agents that do really, really well. They've been around for a long time. Mm-hmm. I mean, think about even for you though. It wasn't until last year you started using e-apps, right? Like late 2020?
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, actually, I've regressed a little bit on that as well because I started looking at some of these e-app company or what some of these companies will not take e-signatures. Mm. So, I mean, I guess technically I could still do the e-app and then get the physical transfer form done. But, you know, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, so it's on that in that regard. It's
kind of. When I'm.
Yeah, that's true. It's probably typing. Faster for you to write anyway.
I can write it up faster than I can type it. But yeah, it's true. But is it better? Yeah, e-apps are definitely better, and there will be a point to where they go to it. So if I don't change, you know, it's going to be a bad thing.
Well, there's an efficiency aspect involved, and I think that's probably the horizon when it comes to virtual versus in person. Which right now, if you were to take numbers and metrics, you look at virtual, there may be a few agents that would say I've actually done better virtually than I did in person.
I haven't talked to anybody.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
But generally what you're going to find, quite frankly, is you're going to find lower closing rates and lower average case size.
Yeah.
There's not two ways around it.
There's something about that face-to-face interaction. Mm-hmm. It's a relationship. Yep. I mean, that's really, I tell my kids this all the time. You know, if you're just having casual conversation, texting's okay.
Right.
If it's serious, pick up a phone and call. If it's really serious, then meet face to face. And so, I mean, I'm driving 3 hours on Thursday to go and meet with my trust attorney. Why? Because that's pretty darn important. That's not something. I mean, this is the first time I'm meeting them, so I really want to get to know them. And who knows, maybe they can help my clients with some of their stuff.
Yep.
So, you know, when it's real important, it's that relationship. And I just haven't seen the virtual even remotely get close to any sort of interaction like that.
I think in the future you'll see that, and that'll be a part of keeping up with the times is doing more virtually, but we don't have the clientele. Yeah. Right now, the people who are in the market for these annuity products for their retirement, it takes a pretty unique situation for them to be more prone to actually striking a deal virtually than in person.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I just saw this morning. It was some news article said, I think 38% of people do their office, these virtual offices they have, from their couch. 20% do their office from their bed, on their bed.
Right.
And then 38%, some number like that, they do it in their closet.
That's a high percentage.
That's a high percentage. I'm like going, number one, how big is your closet?
That's a very good question.
You know, but you're trying to plan your work in your closet. It's just weird.
Yeah, and I would have a hard time, like, even they talk about the psychology of sleep, and it's like you need to actually get up and go somewhere else
Correct.
to do things and establish
Correct.
in your mind your bed is like your place of rest.
Yeah,
Because
so
if it's your place of work,
how do you
disconnect?
focus?
Oh,
you
man.
know, on getting distracted. Yeah, that's tough. But I hope honestly that doesn't become a normal sign of the times where we got to do that. I don't see how it could, but then again, they used to say that about life insurance too.
True. But keeping up with the times, not getting left in the dust. There's really kind of 5, I guess you could summarize it in 3 kind of key areas, I think, in regard to this. Okay. You've got products and carriers, right? You've got systems and processes, which your virtual would kind of appointments and that kind of thing would fall into systems and process. And then you've got technology. Yeah. I mean, you're a big proponent of staying up to date with technology because there's so much that it actually affords you and allows you to think about Hotspot in and of itself. Right now, with Hotspot, which I guess Hotspot's been around for a little while, but there's plenty of agents that don't even consider using it. But what does it allow you to do is not be reliant upon client Wi-Fi if you have to pull out your laptop and run an illustration.
Well, some of these places go, my phone is quicker than their Wi-Fi.
That's true. You know? Is dial-up even a thing anymore?
I haven't run into dial-up in a long time, but I can't even imagine that. I would probably just poke my hand with a pencil and just go, what is going on? But yeah, but even look at products, you know, we go back to the indexed annuities, mid-90s, you know, 95, 96. Then you have income riders, 2003, 2004. Then you had long-term care benefits attached to them, probably 12 and 13, I would imagine. I mean, there's some that were before that, but ones that were considered decent. And I think if you don't stay up with times, you're still that person that's that captivation agent that keeps pushing that same company when the product literally was obsolete 10 years ago. You know, it's like caps. I rarely, if ever, I can't recall the last time I put a cap in any sort of index strategy. They just have not been competitive. Now we have one right now. This is a 5.25% cap, but I looked at it and go, there's been some huge swings. And what happens if you go the entire year where it's 10%, but you end up the year with a negative? I mean, that's the problem. I'm a huge fan of participation rates and spreads.
Particularly in low volatility index or volatility control indexes.
I like volatility control indexes. I like indexes that kind of are well spread out. And that's when it also helps when somebody says, well, I was told I always have to be diversified. Well, these indexes have been designed to do that. That's kind of what they do. Yeah,
it's interesting too because you talk about these different strategies, and there are vastly more. I looked at a plotted curve of the number of index strategies offered in fixed indexed annuities over the past, I think it's 30 years, and it's like. I mean, it is vastly more and each product. There's so many products have 5 to 10 different strategies you can use. It's like, my goodness, that alone is something to try and stay on top of.
Well, and part of that is each insurance company kind of wants to have their own claim to fame, you know, and I don't knock anybody for that. I mean, it can be very effective, especially if you do have an index that's done really well that nobody else can get to. That can be very beneficial. But, you know, when it comes down to what's best for the client, you have to stay up. I mean, I'm constantly keeping my phone update, my computer up to date. Why? Seconds count.
It's true.
You know, if I have a quicker internet speed, I jumped up to that 5G. And in the city, it's lightning fast. You get out a little ways, and it still has a lot of help and needs a lot of help. But I can get things done quicker than most agents can, and I can do things that most agents can because, I mean, you'd be surprised. We get people that are still in an archaic way of doing business, an archaic way of technology. I mean, I remember this president of a very, 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 very large insurance company up until about 4 years ago still had a flip phone.
Okay.
I mean, I'm like going... Now flip phones are coming back to where they're cool again, I guess.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but they're bigger.
Vintage now.
Yeah.
Retro.
Retro. But you want to make sure that you're staying up to date with everything. I mean, I even go to what happens if you don't update your computer?
It struggles.
Slows down, struggles. It doesn't work. The same thing works for me with technology, with product knowledge, with what the current environment, whether it's politically, economically, financially, what is the current market environment. You have to stay up to date on everything. I could go on and on. I mean, this literally could be a 5-hour podcast, because when you're talking up to date, there's so many areas you have to stay up to date to be successful.
Well, and I think the key too is don't forget what's been and where things have come from. Don't forget that, but just continue to learn what's new. I heard you today talking to a client on the phone about, this is what they're doing now, and the reason they're doing this now is because of this back here, and you were kind of helping them see how things have actually progressed, and how where we are now is actually really, really great stuff. We've got some really neat things that we can do with products now.
Insurance companies are getting pretty innovative in what the client's looking for. I mean, obviously, they're always looking out for their bottom line, but it's always the three-legged stool. They got to make the client happy, they got to make the agent happy, and they got to make their shareholders happy. And I would say, for the most part, insurance companies have done really good. There was, I think, an unhealthy balance at one time where they're trying to make the agent too happy. And I don't think that's good, because once again, it's not the agent's money, it's the client's money. But I think they're doing a really good balance. But I'm also not going to sell a product that pays a 1% commission, because that means I don't survive. It'll be like going to McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's or whatever, and you say, well, Wendy's decided to sell their drinks for 10 cents. Well, if they keep doing that, they're not going to be in business anymore. Even though it's better for the client, I mean, any business, any industry you could go to, you could say, wouldn't it be great if I could get things for above, just a fraction above cost? Well, no businesses will stay around. So you as the agent also has to look at this as well. What is best for the client? What is best for you? What is best for the insurance company? But it's got to be balanced. It cannot be favored towards one or another. Now, there have been plenty of times, even as of right now, the product I use generally for most people, there are some that will pay more than that, but I can't find anything that's remotely competitive. I have a guy right now in an income rider. I can only go up to $1 million with this company. He has 1.7 million. The number 2 is so far away from it right now, I just don't want to use it. I don't want to put any of his money in there. So I could have a $700,000 sale right now.
And you're going to leave it on the table?
And I'm going to leave it on the table until I find a better product.
There you go.
So it's just because there's where it's way better for the client. Once again, because it's their money.
That's absolutely right. Well, and it's funny, that same conversation comes up in regard to client, agent, marketing organization. A lot of times marketing organizations, they get it backwards. Marketing organizations will start pushing on their agents products that have the highest override spread. And then this agent gets convinced that this product is better, so then they start pushing that product with their clients, and now their client's in an inferior product, and the marketing organization's making out like a bandit.
And because the agent didn't take the time to figure out if it's true or not, they're messing over their client.
Exactly.
I agree.
But it has to go the other way. We just had
a circumstance like that, right, where you actually showed them the product, and
I was talking with an agent, and they told me, they said, Caleb, my current IMO was pushing these 2 particular carriers on us. And I knew what the AM Best rating of both of those carriers was. And I had a hunch that they had a pretty outrageously high override spread on those for the IMO level contract. And I told them what I thought the spread probably was on those, the override spread. And then I looked it up, and it was confirmed. That was the exact percentage. And they said, I had no idea. It's like, it makes sense to me now. I said, listen, they have, and we looked at what that IMO actually had to offer products-wise. And we looked at those, and I said, they have, even within themselves, better products to offer than what these carriers can give you. But they're still pushing these. Why do you think that is?
And the thing is I have no problem with my organization getting an override. That's helping me. I just don't. They have a job. They have big offices. They have a lot of people. I have no problem with that. But when you're putting a client in a bad situation, and you're putting an agent in a bad situation, because you're picking the product based off of your override versus what's best, that's not a good situation to be in.
Yeah. So the case in point being, stay up to date.
Yep.
Products and carriers, stay up to date with systems and processes, and stay up to date with technology. And
don't skimp on it.
Yeah.
I mean, my phone and my computer have made me millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And it's all about efficiency.
That's right.
So I hope this helps you. You have a great day and happy selling.